Wildcats with their first possession. Martinelli with a full head of steam. Kick to the corner. Jake West from there misses a three. And Trey Kaufman-Renn elevates for the board. Braden Smith sprinting up the floor, feeds the post, looking for Oscar Clough, had it deflected into the hands of Kaufman-Renn. Lawyer is open on the right edge, and he misses a wide-open three. Offensive rebound for Clough, and a second-chance layup puts Purdue ahead 2-0 1 minute into this game. Jake West had a great game for the Wildcats yesterday, 17 points for him. He and Nick Martinelli were the only two Northwestern players in double figures, but that was enough for the Wildcats to beat Indiana. Jaden Reed to the free throw line. Let's go a jumper from there. It's short. Kaufman-Renn alone in the paint for the rebound, and here comes Braden Smith for Purdue. Smith in that all-white jersey with a sleeve on his left arm, dribbles down the right side of the lane, kicks to Kaufman-Renn at the top. Left edge, it's Lawyer, gets a screen, dribbles to the stripe, bounces right block to Clough, who lays it in, plus the foul for Oscar Clough, and a chance at a three-point play for the Australian big man. And that foul will be assessed to Trey Singleton, the Jeffersonville native. He's a freshman. Oscar Clough is an elder statesman. He began his career at the JUCO level all the way out west in Arizona. Had a stop at Washington State. Then he went to South Dakota State last year where he made first team All-Summit League. And now he finishes his college career in West Lafayette. Clough makes the free throw, converts on the three-point play. Purdue leading 5-0, 90 seconds in here at the United Center in Chicago. Up the floor comes Jaden Reed for Northwestern. Right edge, now it's Martinelli. Holds the ball chest high, bounces to the top of the key with a left-hand dribble, crosses over Clough, lets go a mid-range jumper, gets a friendly bounce. And Martinelli has his first two as the Big Ten's leading scorer gets Northwestern on the board. It's 5-2, 18-10 to go in the first half. Braden Smith crosses the timeline, left side of the floor, gives it up to Kaufman-Renn, guarded way out there by Tyler Kropp for Northwestern. Smith into a double team, now finds Kaufman-Renn inside, around the horn and inside to Clough on the right block. Double team comes, Clough inside to Kaufman-Renn, off the glass and in for TKR. TKR averaging 13 points, 9 rebounds on the season. Actually worse in the scoring department than he was when he averaged 21 a game last year, but in a different role in his senior season in West Lafayette. Purdue leading 7-2, 17:40 to go in the first half. Tyler Kropp dribbles to the right elbow, kicks back out to Reed. Baseline right, Martinelli lets go a floater from there, and as he lands on his backside, he finds nothing but net. Nick Martinelli has all 4 of Northwestern's points here in the early going. Purdue with a 7-4 lead, 17:24 to go as Braden Smith creeps across the timeline for the Boilers. Back to the basket with a left-hand dribble, looking for a screen from Clough. Instead, he dribbles into a double team. And on a give and go with Clough, Smith driving into the lane at the hoop, lays it up with the left hand, no. Rebound, Clough left baseline, but he stepped out of bounds. And an empty possession for Purdue. Looks like Clough was going to have a chance at a second chance bucket there, but he couldn't keep his foot in bounds. And so Northwestern can tie it with a 3 as Jake West brings it across the timeline for the Wildcats. Under 5 points per game in the regular season, but West was comfortably into double figures yesterday. Lob at the rim and a two-handed slam for Sheravino. And it's a 1-point game here in Chicago as Sheravino was left all alone in the paint. And he was fouled for an alley-oop dunk. The assist credited to Jaden Reed. Post feed Trey Kaufman-Renn, and he's hooked underneath the basket, fouled by Tyler Kropp. As Angelo Sheravino dunked all over Fletcher Lawyer right there. So Kropp getting some early run off the bench for Northwestern. Started about 10 games in a row near the end of the regular season. Coming off the bench for Chris Collins. Braden Smith inbounding baseline left, had it swatted out of bounds by Jaden Reed. So that takes 1 second off the shot clock. 16:40 to go, first half. 19 on the timer. 7-6 Purdue leading with the ball in the front court. Smith looking to trigger, can't find anybody open. Now Lawyer flashes open in the near corner, dribbles to the block and puts in a right-handed floater to give Purdue a 9-6 lead with 16:33 to go. Northwestern up the floor quickly. Right edge at Sheravino. Now at the top, Martinelli. Picked up by Kaufman-Renn. Martinelli on a give and go. Dribbles to the right wing. And now Sheravino curls to the free throw line. Spots up at the left elbow. Misses the jumper off the heel. A wild deflection off the rebound. It was last touched by Tyler Kropp for Northwestern. And so Purdue will have the ball, needing to go the length of the floor. Braden Smith, the Westfield, Indiana native, closing out his 4-year career at Purdue as one of the most accomplished point guards in college basketball history. One of 3 at the Division I level to reach the 1,000 assist mark. At the top, it's Clough, 15 to shoot as he gives it back to Smith on the right edge. Overhead pass inside. Clough shakes his man and lays it in with the right hand. The 6'11" Clough got the better of the 6'3" Jake West that time. That's a mismatch that Northwestern coach Chris Collins isn't going to want to see too many times. Purdue leading 11-6, 15:45 to go first half. Bottom of the fourth here in the Appy League semifinal. The West Division crown is on the line. Greenville leads Kingsport 1-0. Cameron Kim's RBI single in the first, still holding up. But Kyle Boddy has to face Murderer's Row here in the fourth. It'll be the Player of the Year frontrunner, Cam Durnan, followed by Ben Tryon and Derek Pitts. 3 fantastic hitters for Kingsport this season. A big reason why the Axemen have the best run differential of any team in the league at plus 167 in 46 games. Durnan in the righty box. Here's the pitch from Kyle Boddy. Durnan pops it foul behind the plate. Boddy went with a first pitch slider there. Durnan got a routine fly out to right, his first time up. He made Boddy work for it, though. Boddy threw 20 pitches in that first inning. 9 of them were to Cam Durnan. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Durnan takes a strike on the low outside corner. The fans didn't like that call. I think it was a strike. I just think that the way Brady Francisco received it behind the plate made it look like it was a lot lower and further outside than it actually was. Didn't see Durnan object very much. Here's the 0-2. Swinging a ground ball up the middle. Cameron Kim fields at shortstop, and the sidearm throw is in time to get Durnan. The most dangerous hitter in the league is 0 for 2 tonight. Good job there by Kyle Boddy of retiring the leadoff man. And now here's Ben Tryon. Flyboys leading 1-0. 1 gone in the bottom of the fourth. Tryon, the cleanup man, hitting now. Another left-handed batter. He's 1 of 5 in this Kingsport order. Kingsport also has a switch hitter in Jace Rusi in the catcher. Lefty. Here's the pitch. Bounces in there from Boddy. Tryon kicked off the second inning with a single. Back-to-back hits to start that inning for Kingsport, but Boddy stranded both men, retiring the next 3 in order. Here's the 1-0. A fastball in there for a strike. That's one thing I've noticed about Kyle Boddy, especially as of late, is he is not afraid to throw any pitch in any count against any hitter. Here's the 1-1. Fastball in there on the outside black. It's 1-2. He'll throw breaking balls on 0-0 counts. He'll throw fastballs late. It keeps hitters off balance. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Ben Tryon. Breaking ball in there at the knees for strike 3. Tryon can't believe it. Boddy landed that slider to a left-handed hitter.
Center fielder, number
An efficient start to this fourth inning. Boddy's retired 4 in a row. And here's Derek Pitts. Bases empty, 2 gone in the bottom of the fourth. Flyboys leading 1-0. Kyle Boddy up to just 52 pitches. Looking for a 1-2-3 fourth inning. Pitts in the righty box. Here it comes. Fastball in there at the knees for strike 1. Pitts waggles his head a little bit, but he didn't seem to object to that one very much. I think part of the reason the fans don't like it is because you're so far away from home plate. Here's the 0-1. Pitts takes a fastball for a strike. 0-2. Kyle Boddy working quickly. Very efficient. I think these are just good pitches. I don't think that they're necessarily bad calls. Boddy looking for his 5th strikeout in 4 innings. The left-hander is ready. Here's the 0-2 to Derek Pitts. Swing and a miss at the fastball. He's gone. Kyle Boddy carves through the middle third of the Kingsport order like it's nothing. On to the 5th we go. Flyboys leading Kingsport 1-0 in this Appy League semifinal on the Flyboys Baseball Network.
Corey Heatherman, a former Kurt Signetti assistant, the Miami defensive coordinator. He's unbelievable. They were in the national championship for a reason. But what did Fernando Mendoza do? 4th down, quarterback draw, second half, do or die. Quarterback draw, runs over multiple dudes, weaves his way first and goal, diving toward the end zone. Touchdown, Indiana. One of the most iconic plays in college football history. That's the big game for Fernando Mendoza that Dan Orlovsky so conveniently ignored. I understand if he thinks on a tape basis, on a film basis, on an upside basis, he thinks that Ty Simpson is better than Fernando Mendoza. But in the big games, to insinuate that Mendoza did not show up and then by association imply that Simpson somehow did is disingenuous. It is a bad faith argument because in the SEC championship game, one of the big games, right, for Ty Simpson, well, Alabama was getting shut out until the fourth quarter. They ultimately lost 28-7. Their offense was anemic, and people thought that, yeah, well, based on this performance, Alabama probably doesn't deserve to be in the CFP. And sure, they beat Oklahoma on the road. That was a game where both teams repeatedly shot themselves in the foot with a flamethrower. Neither team wanted to win that game. Ultimately, Alabama won just by virtue of making fewer mistakes. But then, in the Rose Bowl, Indiana ultimately proved that Alabama did not belong in the playoff. Alabama never belonged in the playoff. Ty Simpson did not belong on those stages last season. He just didn't. Just didn't. He just did not belong. The bad faith arguments by Dan Orlovsky at ESPN talking about Fernando Mendoza, diminishing him when it is a foregone conclusion that Mendoza will be selected by the Raiders first overall, is an indictment on what is wrong with sports media in this day and age. Outrage for the sake of outrage, no nuance. It's one of the reasons why people don't really respect ESPN the way they used to. And if it wasn't for live sports, ESPN would probably be in a much worse spot than they are right now. It's also what happens when you lay off a bunch of real journalists in favor of podcast bros and outrage artists. And in laying those people off, laying off the actual journalists, those who are dedicated to their craft, do things the right way, laying those people off for people who only seek to drive clicks, this is what you're going to have. This is what you're going to see. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Because people saw right through it with Orlovsky. It wasn't just that he had a bad take. It wasn't just that he doubled down. It was the fact that he was so brazenly shilling for somebody who was represented by the same agency that he is. CAA. Ty Simpson. CAA. Dan Orlovsky. CAA. Wow. I wonder what vested interest could Dan Orlovsky or people that he is connected with possibly have in pumping up Ty Simpson's draft stock, even when everybody knows Fernando Mendoza is going to Las Vegas. Oh, well, Ty Simpson's signing bonus increases the higher he's drafted. Ergo, the agent gets a bigger cut. That is what this all comes back to. It's money. It's bad journalistic ethics. It is textbook conflict of interest. This is what they teach you freshman year in the IU Media School. Freshman year. If you are associated with the subject of a story, you should probably not be the one reporting on the story. As this relates to Dan Orlovsky, well, I'm represented by the same company that represents Ty Simpson. I probably should not be involved in any debates about him, or if I am, I should disclose my conflict of interest. For example, the Indiana Daily Student was covering Little 500 qualifications yesterday. One of the writers in the women's Little 500 field was previously an employee of the Indiana Daily Student. They disclosed that in an editor's note at the bottom of their story. If an IU student paper can do it, ESPN should be able to do it. But ESPN can't do it because their journalistic standards have completely nosedived off a cliff. And that is a shame. You're listening to IU Sports Sunday.